Here is a Philco. This is kind of a famous model, Model 45C. This is called the butterfly radio. Picked this up from a guy who used to, believe it or not, use it until last year. He said he used to listen to it a lot. He had listened to a Canadian station and a couple other things he liked. And then he said it quit working and started humming. So we know what that means. But the fact that this was still playing and in use until 2024 is pretty amazing, given that it's 90 plus years old. Someone has refinished this badly, very badly. It looks terrible, so it needs to be refinished again. I've started doing a little repair here. I repaired that broken veneer piece. I repaired a couple other little pieces. The veneer was separating in many places. This will need to be filled in here and here. It's not a huge deal. I can just come up with something there. But it needs to be stripped. So before I do that, I have to remove the chassis. So we'll find out what condition it's in. I bet it's been worked on quite a bit. I mean, there's no way that this radio at 90 years old is completely original and still working, or was still working. All right, here's the Philco 45C chassis. You can see how it's built is kind of interesting. You've got your speaker, which is actually mounted on a rubber grommet that's a little bit bad. Tuning capacitor is a lot like the Model 89 that I've worked on, where you turn it and it goes sideways. Now I'm going to have to spray that. That's very dirty. Uses 6 tubes. Does not have an RF amp, but it does have a first audio and detector in one. So that should provide some decent sound. I believe these are actually, for what they are, fairly sensitive radios, even without that RF stage. One capacitor here has been changed. You can see the small one. The other one is original. 3 IF transformers. So the 3 stages, it looks like. I have to refer to the schematic, but if it's got 3 IFs, that's pretty decent. That should at least provide some, improved selectivity and everything. It's kind of small power transformer. It looks okay. I mean, I don't see that it's destroyed itself, and Philco is not known for having bad power transformers, so that's something. The Philcos from about 1931 to 36 or so, I think they're some of my favorites in terms of build quality, in terms of performance. Unfortunately, most of them, people just aren't really excited about them. I don't really know why, probably because they're very common. But the 45 is kind of unusual. Like I said, it's a butterfly design, which is nice. I have select Philcos. I have a few that I've kept in my collection, which I really like. I have 2 very large tombstones. One is a 650 and the other one is a 16B. And fantastic radios, really, really good radios. So, we'll, kind of clean this up a little bit and open it up, and I'll do the usual checks. I'll check the transformer, check the speaker coil. Those are the 2 things. I have seen Philcos with open field coils, so we'll check that. So this is kind of cool. June 1974 was the last time it was repaired. Looks like it had a little mouse damage here. I'm hoping there's no mouse damage in the rest of the set. June 1974, so I guess they listed what tubes, steel tube, I don't know what that is about. Transformer, speaker. Kind of useless. 6A. I don't know what he's talking about, but yeah, it's just, I guess where the tubes are. Okay, well, I can figure that out myself. Anyway, here's the chassis. You can see the way that they built this is unusual. The capacitors are mounted on these boards, terminal boards, which are really, I mean, this is something that American Bosch like to do. And, it obviously works, but it's a little bit weird. So you've got that. Here's a Bakelite block right here. Another one buried down here in the corner. I thought there were 3 in this, but maybe only 2. I'm not sure. But either way, not too many. And then you've got the tone control, which has its own built-in capacitors, which can be replaced. I've done that before. Okay, so with the help of the schematic, I was able to do a few checks. The high voltage of the power transformer checks out good. The filter choke over here checks out good. The primary of the output transformer checks out okay. And the field coil checks out okay. I also tested this big resistor. This is a voltage dividing resistor. That checks okay. I haven't checked any of the others yet, but I will have to. So the main things are working. The guy said it worked until a year ago when it started humming. So right there, that tells us that the filter capacitors have expired. Now there's a couple things I can do to replace them. I can restuff these cans, which I will not do. I don't do that. It's unless it's a Zenith where I can just easily pull the cardboard out. This is just not worth my time. But what I will do is I will replace the filter caps. That's a 16. The others are all 8s. There's 2 of them. I can put them, somewhere hidden below here, and you won't see them. Okay, we got the Philco 45 mostly recapped. I have the Bakelite blocks to do still. I notice I put a terminal strip over here. That's the 2 filter caps, and the third one is over here. The reason I did this is if anyone in the future wants to restuff them, they can. But this way they're totally solid. They're not going anywhere. It's very safe. I changed one resistor that was way out of tolerance. It read 2K. It was supposed to be a 1K. The rest of the paper caps have been changed here. I need to now go in and heat up the Bakelite blocks. This is kind of messy. And then I just pry out the innards and essentially just put in new modern capacitors inside them. There are some people that like to cut the leads and install terminal strips. That's not a good way to do it. It ruins the authenticity, basically ruins the value of the radio. Again, another thing sometimes people do is remove the capacitors and remove the innards, put it back, and then solder capacitors to the outside. That was more accepted in the 70s and 80s when these capacitors would not fit inside the orange drops and other brown drops, whatever they call them. Now they fit inside, so the correct accepted way to do it is to install them inside. You can tell that they've been replaced. You can definitely see the solder is newer, and so on. No one's gonna try to recap, and of course if they do remove it, they'll see that there's new capacitors inside, so that's not really a big deal. But yeah, you definitely want to actually restuff them, and you can't really take shortcuts with it, unfortunately. But this is a collectible radio, so this is well worth the time put into it. So I use my little trick of basically cutting these little pieces that attach, then heat it up really well with a heat gun, like on all sides. Try to get all sides of it, top and sides, back. And then you stick something through these holes and it pushes the innards out in pretty much one piece. And you just get the, that can go. But I used this piece to poke, and that worked. So what I'm going to do now is install safety capacitors. So I got them installed here. I put a little piece of shrink tubing to prevent it from touching. You can see that they've definitely been upgraded to new capacitors. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back in. I'm slightly modifying the way the cord's going in here. I'm going to put a terminal strip here. This way I can put a CL90, which is a thermistor, which will power this up more slowly. Again, like I said, it's kind of a collectible set, so I might as well take any precaution as possible to get this to be a little bit more safe and reliable. And of course, reducing the voltage to the transformer with this you know, not a terrible idea. Okay, this looks kind of crazy, but this is the right way to do it. We have a fuse going to the transformer over here. You can't really see it, but that wire goes into the transformer. You've got the other side over here going to a CL90, which is underneath. There's space under there, so it's not going to get too hot. You've got the other side then running back with this kind of a tan wire to the other input on the Bakelite block. And then inside that there are two 0.01 safety capacitors. So this thing will be safe. It'll have, you know, fuse. If anything goes wrong, the fuse will blow. And then of course it's got that nice slow warm up and slight reduction of voltage with the CL90 thermistor. So that's good. Now the next step is we've got two more Bakelite blocks. They're a little bit harder to get to, unfortunately, so we'll do those. And then we've got the tone control. Now I think I'm probably going to do the Bakelite blocks, and then the tone control I'll do after I make sure it works, because I don't want to get that wrong, otherwise it won't sound right. I want to kind of have a baseline for how it's going to sound. Okay, I've got the I'm going to power it up. I'm just going to see if we have a radio or not. Can't see anything here, but oh, there we go. Yep, we're getting some voltage. This is good. Got the dial light lit up. That's good. It's 55 volts. Okay, it's going down because the tubes are starting to conduct. That's good. Usually I start to hear something around now. Okay, we'll have to do some troubleshooting, see if we can throw a signal through it. Probably the oscillator's not running. All right, let me take a look here.
Game I thought was
okay, we needed a 6A7.
Assistance program. Everybody else
sounds
calls it
really
food
good.
stamps. It is a system that is full of fraud. It is a system that is taken advantage of on a regular, and it should be a lot better managed. And I can only hope that under the Trump administration that is going to happen. But first, I think what the government is going to do.
Doing another Bakelite block, you can see the method I use, pushing a little piece of, it's magnetic, but yeah, a piece of component lead through these holes up here. After heating it, comes out in one big piece, so then that hardens and I just toss it in trash. So those are dual 0.1, so I'll replace that. So this has a wire wound resistor here. It's a flexible resistor. These love to go open. In the interest of trying to preserve the look of it, which, I mean, doesn't really matter, but I just like to leave them if I can. I decided to make sure I removed it from the capacitor, at least on one side, so that no heat would get to it and damage it. So I double-checked the resistance and it's okay. You can see I put in two capacitors in there, so that's definitely going to be good now. This is the tone control assembly. You can see that it has two terminals with capacitors connected, and then the one is ground. Now there is a third capacitor in here. It goes to ground from the wire I just cut off. They all connect to that wire, and then they one goes to ground, and then the other two, basically what it's doing is it's adding capacitors in to increase the capacitance, which then lowers the tone. So that's how that works. I'm going to clean that off when I'm there. It's kind of a cool design. You heat this up and the tar comes out as usual, and then, you know, yeah. Okay, we got the tone control recapped. That should be fine. You can see it basically just connects and disconnects capacitors. So that's fine. So every capacitor in here has been replaced. I guess we're going to go ahead and power this up, make sure it's still operational. Okay.
On Saturday, maybe a thunder shower well south in Weston City, I-86. Kevin Nash. They had the red and black version of New World Order. But anyway.
Oh boy.
On Twitter. Serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site
See, that
pain,
sounds like
fatigue,
what
and
it's
headache.
supposed to.
Allergic reactions can include rash, welts,
medium,
asthma symptoms,
treble.
and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection.
I
Tell
like
your
the
doctor
treble.
your medical
It's
history, muscle or nerve conditions,
clarity
including
of it
ALS,
is very
Lou Gehrig's
good.
disease, myasthenic syndrome, and medications,
And
including botulinum, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit
Probably needs an alignment,
BotoxChronicMigraine.com
but
or
sounds
call
really good.
1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Back to the news and talk. Thanks to Smart.
So I go to power this up, and this resistor burns up, and I get a dead short to B+. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I disconnect this third IF can, and I get the dead short going away. So then I check this, and it's sure enough got a dead short. Then I wiggle this wire around a little bit, like just a little, right? And it changes the short, and I'm like, what's going on? Well, you can't really tell, but well, maybe you can. This terminal is sticking out just enough so that it's touching the inside of the can. Can you believe that? So that sucks, first of all. This is the kind of stuff you have happen once in a while with old radios. So I'm going to go ahead and clean that up. I'll put it back together, and then we'll power it up. Hopefully it'll be okay. Okay, I found that the IF was open. So this is just getting completely crazy. So I've got a parts chassis here, which I somehow found on Marketplace, of all places. It's literally a parts chassis. It's destroyed. It's been bent. It's from the console version, which means it has the speaker plug, which has been cut off. Unfortunately, you know, it's just a mess. The caps have been cut out of it. It's, you know, it's a parts. So I checked the third IF can, and it checks okay, although someone has cut it out of circuit. So I don't know what's going on there. I'll have to open it up and determine what's going on. So this also, it seems to be a different version of the radio. There's a Bakelite block right here, so I'm gonna have to remove that to get into here.
Prime Minister
Well, it's
Benjamin
playing
Netanyahu
again, so
denied
that's...
that there was starvation in Gaza. President Trump was asked about those comments, and here's what he said.
Based on television, I would say not particularly, because
better, but not great. I don't know. All right.
Let you down. You've been hit.
We got,
and you're hurt. You were in a crash, and now you're also
shut
out of
that
cash. You need someone by your side. You need George Gannon to help you through the
Sounds
injury and
great.
legal process. With decades of experience helping clients injured in an accident, George Gannon takes on the insurance
Sounds
companies
really
to get you the
nice.
settlement you deserve.
Did the alignment,
George
you know,
Gannon will
I just
fight
did
for
a
you.
IF alignment.
Call George at 203-713.
It's a little off here in the dial.
hard work is the foundation of the job site. Boot barn work
Awesome.
hard equipment. Hard work is
I know.
nation moving. Boot Barn Work proudly offers a broad selection of Carhartt workwear and boots, known for durability and quality since 1889. When the work is relentless, Carhartt is trusted to finish the job. With so much on the line, there's no room for cutting corners. Carhartt at Boot Barn Work.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry!
Bankrupting municipalities.
Okay, here is the
Will it happen right
Philco
away?
45.
No. But the long-term goal for the
Cabinet
communists,
is-
the long-term goal for the socialists,
Okay.
it's never been we gotta win this
I
next
don't
election.
love
It's always been we
this,
just gotta make a little more progress.
but
We just gotta get a little
it's
closer.
not terrible.
Same on Donnie wins, right? She was going, man,
So we're picking up, you know, whatever.
maybe we'll buy.
You get back into shape fast, absolutely free.
Great
Text
tone.
ALL to 321-321.
Treble,
That's
mid,
all to
bass.
321-321.
I like the mid.
321.
Sounds
It's time to make an appointment to tour Forest Hills, Milford, one of the newest
alignment is
luxury
perfect.
Well,
See if we can get anything else.
no, you went now.
Run as a prescription. Send you
Sometimes they can get the Canadian station. It's at 900.
free 24/7
It's
support with
880.
mental health, suicide. For you or someone you love.
It's not coming in tonight. Might have to move the antenna sometimes, you know, that.
On the line, test your picks week after week and see if you... Perry Basin, Georgia, yesterday, and to use it on this
10-10.
The suspect, identified by Army officials.
Russ Ackman discusses
10-20.
financial and retirement strategies to
10:30.
That cash flow come from in retirement.
It's doing okay. This is KDKA.
Wall Street is not your friend. Ackman Well Partners.
To recover.
He's currently in pre
7674.
It ain't true about the people, it's true about the food.
That's
People
WBZ.
could use some more. Thick. Hey, Randy, what's up?
Oh, the bathroom sink's backed up. What am I gonna do?
Call the company that gives a poop about your
Anyway,
pipe.
nice.
I gotta get the sink fixed.
It's
What an
Drains
ad.
by
Wow.
James. You've heard the commercials.
Okay.
Always the solution for home and business clogged pipes and drains, as well as pipelining repair.
Some of these ads, I don't know.
Yes,
Anyway.
dear. We can depend on DrainsByJames.com because at Drains by James,
You're fine. Explosives, drugs, investigators.
All right. So, came out pretty good after all the, mess that I had with the coils and everything else. Sides look good. Top looks pretty good. Front looks good. It looks better when the lighting is better. Unfortunately, this is what we've got, but yeah, not terrible.